On this week's episode of Teachers Off Duty, we cover all of the different ways that elementary, middle school, and high school are different, from parent involvement to sub-plans and everything in between. You're not going to want to miss this episode, so stay tuned.
Welcome to this week's episode of the Teachers Off Duty podcast comedy takeover. I got two lovely comedians sitting next to me. I'm just I fake it. I fake being like a comedian. Like
I feel like I'm a faker too.
Yeah.
No,
yeah.
you. Hey,
my students tell me I'm not funny. I mean, they
guys, stop it. As a professional comedian, I'm here to tell you, no, you guys are validated. I vouch for you, and I vouch for you, and there I said it.
Well, if you need any tips, just kidding. Just kidding. KC Mack's fantastic. He's funny.
Thank you.
Is that why his handle is KC Mack?
His last name, he was born this role. He was born into it. Little do people know, KC Mack's last name is actually funny.
It is funny.
His middle name is Mack.
Well, technically, my real name is Stanley Gilbert, but that
your
doesn't
last
have a ring to
That's
it.
a funny name.
Board Teachers Comedy
Hey!
Tour. Check it out. But let's go through some tour dates. What's going on? Where are you guys going to be? Where are you going, Casey?
Man, the wonderful Board Teachers Comedy Tour. That's right. If you have yet to purchase a ticket, you definitely need to, because you know what? Real quick, as a special treat to the certain listeners, we have some listeners that get the opportunity to hear the podcast drop today. And if they're in the Jacksonville, Florida area, you're going to have the opportunity to see us tonight. That's right. At the Florida Theater.
Where?
Tonight.
Where is it?
In Jacksonville, Florida.
Nice.
Tonight.
At what theater?
The Florida Theater.
That's pretty confident.
The Florida?
The Florida
The
Theater.
Florida Theater.
Wow.
The Florida Theater.
Tonight.
Wow.
So you're welcome. 2 gifts, all wrapped up in one day.
The gift is us. Welcome.
Listen, we're also going to be in Shippensburg, Pennsylvania. But listen now, Shippensburg, we appreciate y'all. Why? Because you guys sold that place out. That's right. That show is sold out. Yes.
What?
Yes, sold out.
I was going to go over there.
Can't. No more tickets.
Dadgummit. PA is really close to South Dakota. Where else you at, Casey?
Atlantic City, New Jersey.
Oh!
Patchogue, New York.
What?
Hey, that's sold out as well.
Pat who?
Patchogue, New York is sold out too.
Sold out?
Thank you, Patchogue.
I was going to go there too.
Poughkeepsie, New York.
How do you spell that?
Poughkeepsie, New York. P-A, Kipsy. I don't know. There's some G's and U's in there. I don't know. Don't ask me.
What state's that?
New York.
Hey!
Hey, man.
I've been there.
Akron, Ohio.
O-H.
I-O.
Hey!
I thought it was something else.
Poughkeepsie.
I thought it was something else coming.
P.O.
Wabash, Indiana.
Who?
Wabash, Indiana.
Never been there. Never heard of that.
Joliet, Illinois. Thank you for selling that out as well.
I heard Joliet, Illinois is Chicago, but not Chicago. That's how it's described.
It's
Yeah.
Chicago-ish.
Chicago-ish.
It's sold out though, so
Sold out.
don't. I know.
Appreciate
don't
you for
even,
that.
You guys are
don't
funny.
even-
Thank you.
Selling
Thank
on the
you.
tickets.
And Toledo, Ohio.
Whoa.
Last but not least. But listen, they're gonna see you on the stage.
TBD.
TBD.
See, here's how I think it was Batman who said it. I like to operate in the shadows.
I'm sorry. It just hit me.
What?
TBD. To be determined.
To be determined.
Every time I always seen that by my name, I thought it was the black dude. Dang.
Board Teachers Comedy Tour!
Usually gotta pay for these jokes. Today you got them free.
Jacksonville.
Toledo.
Florida Theater.
Holy cow. Atlantic City. Here, okay, I'll send a pitch over here. Boss is sitting in this room. I've always wanted to go to Atlantic City, more so to go play some blackjack. I love playing blackjack. I love gambling. I love it. When I was in college, we my roommates and I, we learned how to count cards. So we go like
Oh,
played
you're
by-
cheaters.
No. We were smart. So
That's what a cheater would say.
if you guys ever if you ever seen the movie called 21,
Yes.
it's about those MIT
Yeah.
students and the professor
Yes.
leads like a underground like gambling like count carding. Yeah, that was
that
actually about
you?
me. Yeah, that was I was actually an MIT
MIT.
professor. But no, if I could teach any course like out there, if I could teach blackjack, that'd be awesome. I think that'd be fun. Like I
It's
think
an actual course.
that'd be awesome. Like teach kids like, hey, here's.
Would that be weird to do like as an extracurricular?
I think that'd
for
be
students?
so fun. Like teach a gambling class. Like kids, all right. Dealer
Gotta do
showing
it smart.
Dealer showing 5, you're dealt 16. What do you do? Like it'd be awesome. It'd be
Yeah.
a ton of fun.
Yeah.
Teach
So
some math.
so James is he's listening to this. If he needs someone to do Atlantic City, don't look at me because I'll be at the casino.
You know, I always said I love Atlantic City because that city reminds me of if Miami and Vegas had a baby,
Oh,
it'd be Atlantic City.
wow. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I believe it. Oh, and guess what? We got some other news here. We got some more stuff.
This is
Hey.
now, this is very important.
Hey, what year comes after 2023?
2024.
Are you guys going to be touring in 2024?
There may be a date or two
Oh, I heard there
already
might even be
on
3.
the calendar. Or we might already have the calendar booked all the way to May. That's right, 2024. It's definitely going down. Board Teachers Comedy Tour 2024. Who wants more? Bow. Bars.
Wow.
Wow.
See that?
Wow.
Wow. That
I'm
was
actually really excited about 2024 because I get to go on some of those days.
She's back.
Back.
Yes. Oh, our sister.
Oh,
See, we started the comedy game together
we did.
for the Board Teachers Comedy Tour.
Yeah.
And it's been just, we had so many great times.
Yeah.
A lot of great fun memories on the van.
So many of you sleeping in the
Did
van.
you snore?
No,
Does-
Rumor is you snore.
I breathe
snore.
harshly.
Wow.
You
That's what
breathe
it is.
partially as opposed to fully?
No, harshly.
Harshly.
Oh, harshly.
That means I'm dead.
I know, that's why I was,
Check
I
his
was
pulse.
concerned. That's why I was
No.
concerned. Yeah.
No, I don't really. I have a CPAP now.
You know what? You know what I have now? Okay, maybe this is part of getting older. Okay, so I've got a deviated septum and I can't breathe that goodly out of my nose.
Really?
I got these new like patches. Things
Breathe
that-
Rights?
Breathe right. Oh, dude, it's insane. Being able to breathe through your nose at night.
That's
it's-
what. How does it work?
you put it on here and it like flares your nostrils out so you can get more air in the chamber.
Okay.
And oh my word,
Casey would
game
just walk
changer.
around with one on his nose all the time.
I almost wore one to record today. I'm gonna wear one to school tomorrow.
Yeah, you are.
My middle school students will not make fun of me at all.
Forget my nose. I'm putting one on my nipple. I have clogged pores.
Okay, stop. Enough.
So
Okay.
our topic for today, we're diving into it. Okay, we're diving into it. We are going over some of the best and worst parts of teaching
Yes.
each grade level.
Thank you.
Because we've all taught different grades. So
Yeah.
I've taught 6th grade, I've taught 7th grade, and then I did a semester of student teaching in high school, and then taught a semester of high school as well. So most of my time has been all my time has been in secondary. I also worked as a substitute teacher for a couple of years. Also was a substitute para for a couple of years.
Oh.
It was did a number of different positions. It was challenging. What about you? What did you teach?
I've done pair work. As soon as I graduated from college, that's exactly what I went into. I was a pair for a few years. Why? Because I was trying to still figure out this whole educational thing.
Yeah.
Didn't know what I wanted to do. And it's so funny when we was talking about it, have I ever taught high school? And I was like, no, just, during the post-pandemic, But I actually forgot. It was the stint, like, I blocked it out because I was at
Must have been fun.
No, man, I was at an alternative school. So it was some of the worst times of my life. And I really and then when I was sitting here listening to you, I was like, oh, wait a minute. That's right. I worked at the Dallas Can Academy. I forgot about that.
For a couple of years.
Oh, man. Wow. Oh, man.
Where was that at? What state was that?
Texas.
Ah,
Dallas Can Academy. And it's one of the jokes I used to say. I found out why they called it the Can Academy. Because my first day on campus, I was like, oh, can you walk me to my car after school? Can you call 911? You know, Jacksonville tonight. And then I taught middle school. So I've been in middle school for the past 3 years. Special education, middle school. So
Nice.
Awesome.
I
taught,
substitute with the babies though.
Did you?
Yeah, when I subbed, I had to, of course you can't. So I subbed elementary, here and there. But
I would have loved to see that in action.
oh man, them kids.
Did you like it? Whoop. Okay, that was enough of an answer for me. Thank you. I taught 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th.
Wow.
Yeah, I went around. I didn't go younger than 3rd, but it was fun. I loved it.
Was that
I loved
just like
them.
your cap? You didn't want to go below that?
I didn't want to go below it because I don't have the cadence to speak with the younger babies like I did with like middle schoolers or they don't understand sarcasm, but we'll get into that
Facts.
probably. Yeah.
Oh, that's a good one. Oh yeah, that's actually a good kickoff.
Oh, is it?
Do tell.
Okay. All right. When I moved down to 3rd grade, it was quite a culture shock for me because in middle school they understood sarcasm a little bit more. You could have those conversations. 3rd grade, I think I made a student cry by accident the first week.
Oh, no.
Because they did not understand my sarcasm. Wow. So that was
That's
kind
tough.
of the bummer of going down to the elementary level in regards to like how you talk to your students because they didn't get it. I
would do so bad when it comes to like teaching elementary and like having to speak their language. I don't know. I talk to my students kind of the same way that I talk to like adults.
Right.
Like, here's how I talk.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna, some people are really good at, okay, class, here we go. Like I can't do that at all. And if I had to do that with elementary kids every single day, I would maybe be employed for a week and a half. After that, like, yeah, here's my 2 weeks. This is not for me. Not for me. Because I used to sub like for a couple of years. And when I would go to the elementary classrooms, just like having those conversations with kids, I just was not good at. Like I couldn't do it. So did you have like a teacher like tone with those kids? Like, did you have to change how you talk?
Definitely she
Yes.
did.
Yeah.
Yes, for sure. For sure. I think it is kind of that like you get on that like Disney princess voice of like oh, like, could I help you with that?
Oh,
Absolutely.
I couldn't do it.
I know.
Oh, I couldn't do it.
So sweet.
It makes me cringe in my in my heart of hearts because it's just that's not who I am.
Yeah.
But you had to. That's the way you had to
The
communicate
voice,
with them.
it helped you. It just resonated with them, that tone, because I used to watching it from the favorite programs, Nickelodeon.
Well, it's like it's safe,
That's why I used to be like, hey, kids, open up your books today. It's about to go down.
Like, we love this guy. And you do that in middle school, like, who is this guy? This guy oh, brother, this guy stinks. I think of like when, like in middle school, when I've got kids that are like doing something like they shouldn't be, I can just be like, dude, what are you doing?
Right.
Like, if I said that to like a 2nd grader, I would just make them cry. Like, I couldn't do it.
Yeah.
Because at least like with secondary, you can talk to them and just be kind of straight up and be real with them, which I really do enjoy that. Like, do you have that, Casey? Like, when you talk to your students?
A lot of times I try to relate to them, like, like, I understand, we have to be an authority figure all the time. I get it. I get it. And usually, because I'm big and tall, I'm supposed to be the disciplinary every time. Go, Mr. Mack, But a lot of the times I'm like, I found if you just talk to the kids, on their level. So like, okay, I know I'm your teacher and you understand these boundaries, but also understand that, I was in middle school before, duh. So I kind of been through what you're going through. So it's like I could kind of relate to them on their level and just kind of talk to them on some, look, bro, man, chill out. Look, why would you do that?
And I think that's like the cool part of like teaching middle school or high school. Like you can have that relationship with them, and like you are like the fun teacher, and like
right.
But there are those like boundaries of having those almost come to Jesus moments of like why are you acting like this?
Yeah.
Why are you acting like this?
I've noticed with like my students who are mature middle schoolers, you can have those conversations with and just be like totally real with them. Be like, hey, like I've had a bunch of times if kids are making poor choices, in school and out of school, where I'll sit them down and be like, hey, listen, you're making decisions here that are going to start to affect you for the rest of your life.
Yeah.
And if you keep making these decisions, you're not going to go down a path that you're going to really enjoy. Right. And it's fun having those conversations. I like having that. And like, I remember when I was doing high school, one of my hardest things was seeing kids making decisions that did impact the rest of their life. Because when you get to that age, you start making mistakes that they stick with you. At least in the middle school level, you can catch them early and be like, hey, if you keep making these mistakes, here's the path that this usually tends to go.
Yeah.
And I think it's important to have those conversations with kids. And we're not saying, hey, you're going to be nothing. You're going to go down this path. It's no, it's like, hey, if you keep making these decisions, this is the outcome. Right. And I think kids need to hear that where, hey, these choices you make, they have consequences. And it might not be tomorrow, but it might be in 5 years. Right. But then you're going to have to look in the mirror and be like, hey, these 5 years of choices led me to this position, whatever it is, good or bad.
Right.
And we pray that works. I mean, and you're right, not a lot of especially on the middle school level, implement that a lot. And, trying to reinforce that thinking. They just wait till they get to high school. But at this point, it's like, it's kind of too late. I mean,
habits are made.
I mean, now granted, it's never too late, but it would have been better.
It'd be more challenging.
Right.
Yeah. More challenging
earlier.
Yeah. And I tell my kids all the time, like, you're making habits now. You're making habits now,
for sure.
and it's going to stick with you for the rest of your life if you keep going down that path. But I don't know. That's what I like about middle school. Like, I couldn't do that with a kindergartner. I couldn't do that.
So, like, sometimes when you're having those behavioral issues, parents have to become involved in some sort of way.
Right.
Like, and parent involvement is so different across the board.
Right.
And I feel like the way that high school parents are involved in the classroom is way different than they are at kindergarten. Like
100%. 100%. I think it's interesting at the middle school level seeing parent involvement because some parents still think that it's elementary school. And it's like, no, things are different. For me as a teacher, I've got 105 kids I see every day.
Right.
It isn't no longer one sheltered classroom of 25 kids. Like I've got a whole bunch of kids that I see. So the amount of individual time I can spend with each kid is drastically less just because that's the nature of the beast. That's how it goes. So I've noticed with middle school, some parents still can treat it like elementary school. And it's important as teachers to say, hey, here's how we operate. Here's things are different now.
Yeah.
And like for me, I tell a lot of parents, we try to teach the kids, taking accountability, self-accountability, getting their work done. We're not going to hunt every kid down if they have late assignments. And usually most parents are appreciative of that. They really do like it. But what did you notice in elementary?
In elementary, parents, I feel like it varies, but like parents are usually very, very involved. Yeah. And it's like thinking about kindergarten. My best friend just had her son go into kindergarten, and he's still like crying going into school. So it's like you have to drop them off, and you have to like comfort them and just be there for them all the time. And then I think as they go through the grades, like third grade, I had very, very involved parents and some parents that were just like, no, like, we get it. School, like, you got them at school and like, you're good to go. If there's an issue, call me. If not, then I'm going to assume everything's great.
Right.
Yeah.
But I think parent involvement, I think it's important to involve the parents when you're in elementary school. Yep. I think about, like, I have a 2.5-year-old and I am already dreading, like, the idea of, like, having my son in a classroom, like, away from me all day and not knowing what's going on. Yeah. So, like, I think about that, and you have to kind of involve those parents, too, that have some sort of, like, what are you guys doing? What are you learning about? Yeah. And there's like the newsletters that I have to do or, all of that stuff. So.
And it's important as teachers, like we're a team, the teachers plus parent plus kid, we're all a team. We're all trying to work together. So I think no matter what grade you're teaching, you need parent involvement. You need to be communicating with the parents, let them know what's going on, because at the end of the day, we all want what's best for the kid. And that's the end goal.
Right.
And I mean, especially like on the high school level, this is what I've noticed, like, the involvement kind of decreases, but not because they're just saying, hey, well, we don't care anymore. But I think it's more so they're under the idea that, my child is older. He's almost out of high school, especially when th're getting like junior, senior. They're almost out of school. My involvement is, my presence doesn't have to be, so up close and personal, you know what I'm saying, and so involved, right? But here's the thing, though. Whereas you might not be as involved like you were when they was in middle school, elementary as much, but they still need that involvement because you want to make sure that your kid is on track. Right. Making sure they have everything that they need as they're about to transition out of high school.
And it's good for the kids just to see their parents involved.
Right.
Even though, like, I think about a lot of different, like, high school conferences, because conferences are so different at each grade level. A lot of parents kind of saying, hey, I'm not going to go to conferences this year because I've heard the same thing for 10 years straight. You know? But the counter to that is, hey, when you still go to those conferences, it's showing the kid that you're involved. It's showing that you care. So, yeah, I mean, I do understand if your kid is a senior, do you really need to go to the conferences? I don't know. That's up to you. But just parent involvement is so important so the kids can consistently see, like, hey, my mom and dad, they care, or whoever the kid lives with. That's so important for them. You know? And kids really do appreciate that. But I think conferences are interesting because that's another thing, how each grade level is different. Where middle school conferences are always so interesting. Like they're always interesting.
How does it run in middle school?
So we have like how at my school we do a group. So we have the kids come with the parents, and then we just kind of put it all out there. We say it as it is.
The kids are there?
Kids are there. Yep. Usually the kids are there. And we want them to be there so we can have that conversation with the kids, because it's not us against the kid. It's, hey, we're a team.
That's very true.
And if there's an issue going on in school, we'll say, hey, here's a consistent pattern of things that we're seeing, you know? And a lot of times the most common thing parents always say, yep, we see that at home. Yeah. Yep. We've heard this for the last couple of years. So how did you do it in elementary?
Sorry, I just had one more question.
Yeah,
I'm very interested. Do you guys do it as a team, or do you do individual subjects?
So we've tried a couple different methods. So we have the first hour and a half of conferences blocked off, so parents can schedule. So hey, we want to talk to this teacher, and then you bounce around to talk to all the teachers in our team. Okay. And then later in the evening we have an open house format. So 3 hours of open house, just show up, talk to whatever teacher's open, and then go from there. So
I feel like that would give me anxiety.
Yeah, there's times where you have to be prepared for those tough conversations you're going to have. So you have to kind of know what you're going to say. And then all of a sudden it's like, oh, I'm having this tough conversation. And you really got to be quick on your feet, because if the conference starts to derail, it happens quickly. And if you start getting a parent upset, it happens quickly. So there's that variable of it's challenging. Right. But I don't know. How do you guys do it in elementary?
In elementary, I did it for my class as a whole. So I taught all of the subjects, and parents scheduled out the conferences. So I usually had 20 to 30 conferences, depending on familial situations and who needed to be there. But it was a lot of conferences, and it was actually really really helpful for me to do conferences that way, because it got me thinking. We did them usually at the beginning of the year, around October, and it got me thinking about each individual student and what each individual student needed, from my observation. So it was very helpful for me to communicate that with the parents, and also think about them as individuals, not necessarily as a class whole. Yeah. So we did individual conferences for every parent. So I covered all of the subjects, which...
How long did that take?
I had 20-minute conference slots. So I would stay after school. We would usually have a half day. So I would have back to back to back all the way until I scheduled mine out through the night for parents who couldn't come earlier. And then, so I was there from 7 a.m. to 8:30 p.m. Those were the long days.
Those long days. You get to school regular time. Yeah. Teach the whole entire day. Then guess what? You can't go home. Yeah. No. You can't leave campus to go get no food. No. Why? Because the PTA brought everybody Jason Deli sandwiches, and you have to eat that because that's where everybody. Or they might do pizza. I don't know.
Wow, you got pizza? That's nice.
We had a cool PTA. So we stayed there. We eat, and then we would go back to our classrooms and wait. Now, maybe 1, 2, maybe 3 or 4 parents show up.
Oh, it's just an open door policy?
Yes.
No one scheduled it?
And they just would come in.
Nope.
Now, some of the teachers didn't see any parents. you know, we were actually happy to see, like, because, you know what I'm saying? Because we're just sitting there like, please come.
Please.
So, but we wouldn't get home till about 7:30. Like it's horrible.
Yeah.
Ooh,
our days are 8 to 8 when we have conferences, 7:45 to 8. So it's, those get to be long days.
Yeah,
long days.
And emotionally draining too, because some of those conferences are tough.
Yeah,
in the sense of like, you know, you're sometimes handling. You have to give not bad news, but just like, you know, some students need that extra support and that extra time to talk about where you can help them and where you can see growth. So it's like, those are tough conversations to have sometimes.
And each family deserves your best.
Absolutely.
So it's like, it's hard to constantly be going back to back to back to back.
It's hard to be a Disney princess that
Right.
long.
It's hard to be that, yeah.
Oh, what about this voice? I can't do this the whole conferences.
Hi, parents. Let's keep going with how different grades are different.
Okay.
Let's look at content, teaching content. So it's so different. One of the reasons why I like teaching middle school is because I only have to be 1 hour smarter than a middle schooler. I'm 1 hour smarter. I might not know what I'm teaching tomorrow, but I know what I'm teaching today. Yeah. And you don't know this information yet, so I'm 1 hour smarter. And that's where I had a job offer to teach high school, what was it? Chemistry it was physics and physical science.
Hard pass.
And I was like, I can't just show up and wing it.
Right.
You know, at the middle school level, it's like, it's very intro
ahead.
level
You can do
content.
it.
So it's like, all right, yep, I can quickly get the parts of the cell down again, and then let's give this information.
Right.
So
Yeah.
I like being 1 hour smarter than a middle schooler. It's just, it's
High
different.
school, that's when they begin to start critically thinking.
Yeah.
And they have the questions.
They're like, and then the kids are like, I think I'm smarter than the teacher. Like there's definitely times where like those high level kids in high school, there's times that they might be smarter than the teacher because those are some bright kids. There's some smart kids. But like, and my dad is a high school teacher, and we talk about this a lot and he teaches AP Bio. For him, his biggest stressor is learning content. And behaviors are usually the least biggest stressor. For me, it's the other way around.
That's
Behaviors
funny.
are my biggest stressor. Learning the content is my smallest stressor.
Okay, and what was the content you did when you was in high school? What did you do?
Health.
Health. Okay, got you. Okay, so so you had to create that whole curriculum, and was you pulling like from other teachers as far as getting like your content, or did you
doing health? No, they had a full curriculum for it.
Okay.
They had it all mapped out. I love teaching high school health. It was fun, and at least like when you're doing health, the kids do have real questions, especially high school. Like they've got real genuine questions, which it's fun to teach that course. But I liked it. I liked doing that. It was good. Because what did you teach when you did high school?
English.
What's it like planning for that?
Man,
I don't know how you'd...
simply, I go on Teachers Pay Teachers.
TPT.com. I can't imagine being an English teacher, like teaching kids how to read. Like that's a lot of pressure. Like elementary, you guys did that. Taught kids how to read. I can't teach a kid how to read.
Yeah, that's a lot of pressure. That's one of the reasons why I can't go down like lower than third grade, because that's too much pressure for me.
Yeah.
That's too much.
Okay, okay, you guys PLC, right, though? So when you was doing your planning for like the week for whatever unit you guys was on in your department?
Yeah, well, I was in a small school. It was usually just one person in third
Okay, that's
grade.
what I wondered, because I know in middle school we have to PLC.
Yeah.
Like our departments, we sit down and
We
we
PLC the heck out of it, man.
Man, and I used to say, man, PLC should stand for people. Let's chill. But no, they wanted to actually do work.
Jacksonville, Florida.
Tonight.
I need a book of KC acronyms.
That's funny. Writing sub-plans for each elementary. Woo! I don't know how you do it.
This is so tough. My husband teaches high school history. And like his sub plans are like
Turn on a World War II documentary.
I need some coffee for
go
this
on
one.
your Chromebook and do this.
Here's a packet.
And I'm like, and they do that for 50, however long the period is? He's like, yeah. for elementary, you have to plan out every single minute. So like, and then you have to have subsets to those subplans. So like, if we have a fire drill, this is what you need to do. And if we have to do this, if there's an assembly, like surprise assembly that no one knew about, like here's this and all of this stuff. Like, don't forget, like this student can't sit next to this student and they can't be partners.
This
and,
student
like, this
has a peanut allergy and they will die if they touch a peanut.
Right, like life or death situations. And it is a lot to plan for, and I know like people go off on this for me all the time, like, well, just have a subfolder. I get that, and I absolutely should have a subplan or subfolder like all ready to go. But sometimes I don't.
No, but just listening to you, I don't think people understand that. I'm sitting here thinking, how cool I have it, and even on the high school level. Really, you put all the objectives, everything that you want them to do that day, whatever, on a middle school, high school level, they do it.
Yeah.
Supposedly. And if they don't, I'll see you when I get back. If I heard that you was acting up, I'll see you when I get back. But other than that, my sub only has to just really, manage that.
Right.
Well, but on an elementary level, no, they got to get down. They're in it.
Right. And it's so,
you can't just sit there.
hands-on. It's so hands-on.
That's crazy.
And that's why I had so much anxiety about being out of the classroom, because it is not just like go on your Chromebook, like play a game or whatever. No, and I'm not saying that high school or middle school teachers do that at all. But I'm just saying, like,
sometimes it's we have a web course we're doing today.
Elementary, come on, people, let's just be real. I know we always got this battle of who has it worse, but come on.
You guys win that one on subplans. Yeah,
come on.
But like, and like the kids, we have special things that we do. Like, sometimes the sub coming in, like, can we do a gim kit? What's a gim kit? Like, they don't know what that is, but like we would do that at the end of a class or, or the math lesson, the math curriculum that they got my last year teaching was so obnoxiously complicated that I felt so bad leaving that as subplans.
Yeah.
I felt so bad because I'm like, I'm so sorry. Most of the times I would put the answer, like try to do the problem out on the board. I'm like, that isn't right, guys.
Did you
at all.
You had to ask yourself, am I really this sick to do this to my sub?
Right. Well, that's what it came down to. Like, do I really want to be out? Do I really, really want to be out? So
I used to sub, and when I was doing, like, I'd go sub elementary, I'd read the sub plans. I'm like, oh my gosh, this is a lot of work. Like, it is. Well, because when you think of it,
12:05.
Yeah, you truly, because when you think of it, like if I'm gone for a day of school, I'm gonna have my general science course that I need subplans for, my accelerated course, and then my Bison Academy at the end of the day.
Yeah.
So there's 3 hours of content that I need to have planned.
Yeah.
You guys have the full 8 hours that you need to have structured.
Right. Yeah.
Like that's tough.
Yeah.
That's not easy.
Saluting everybody.
And then we go for multiple days.
Yeah.
That'd be awful.
Maternity leave?
I don't.
I thankfully did not have to make maternity plans. I just had to like kind of leave the structure. But okay, so like that brings up something I have an argument with my high school teacher husband about is the preps. Okay. Preps. You guys, so like, and again, I sound so aggressive when I'm like, you guys get to do this. That's not what I'm saying. But for high school, middle school, you guys are prepping for usually, like three classes total for the day. Or like, and
block schedule, Yep.
Yeah, right. So if I, like during my prep period, I'm trying to prep math, science, English, reading, like all of the different subjects in a 45-minute class. And my husband has like an hour and 20 minutes for prep to do the same lesson that he's teaching for like 2 blocks.
On your plan period, you really plan. Do y'all get a plan period? Oh, like when they go like the gym, lunch, or music or something like that? Wow.
Yeah. Yeah. So like, I think like that's the other thing too, is that when we're talking about prep periods in elementary school, we're talking about like, 45 minutes.
Right.
Like I am trying to get everything done right now.
From the outside looking in, they work elementary teachers like workhorses. I mean, it is like, and they work everybody hard. Don't get me wrong. But I'm saying outside looking in, I could never do elementary for all those reasons.
Definitely not.
Come on, Gabe, you can do it.
Okay, guys. quiet coyotes. Like, shut up.
I salute every elementary
couldn't do it.
educator. Thank you for what you do.
Thank you.
Yeah.
For real.
Those
Thank
kindergarten
you.
teachers too are just
kindergarten,
the most amazing
pre-K.
people.
Love
my
you
word.
all.
All right, let's go through some more of these. So
Okay.
the difference in testing, huge difference. So so like state testing is one thing, but I also look at like teaching like high school teachers. There's so much emphasis on test and grades. Like that's a huge part of it. Where like at the middle school level, a lot of times it gets, people will say like, well, these grades don't really carry over. Like they they'll say, well, these grades don't matter.
Yeah.
Well, it depends what you mean by they matter or not. But yeah, this
data don't
college wanted
matter.
to find out about what grades you're
Right.
getting. Where in high school, you have to have your stuff done. And
Right.
you gotta have it down.
With the state testing, I think in middle school, I think you're right. It's not more so the grades and scores. I mean, I'm not saying they're not important, but I think it's more so the practicing of getting them prepared
the habits.
for on the high school level so that they can, be successful in those testing. But I mean, and again, the middle school teachers, we know when we have to do the whole testing when it's around testing year. Oh, we dread it. Just
it's tough.
get your new shoes out. I mean, get them comfortable shoes out because you're about to active monitor, and you don't know irregularities
Stretch.
going on your record. So it's just that's the part that we hate.
Yeah.
But you guys don't do that on an elementary. Don't do like
I mean, just like the smaller, not like so much state testing. State testing usually starts for at least for my state in 3rd grade.
Okay.
Which again is like tough. These kids are still kids,
Right.
and we're testing them, and even like kindergartners are being tested constantly.
Yeah.
And that's just, I'm sorry, but that is not okay. That's not fair. And
Right.
these are babies, like
Yeah.
5-year-olds.
Just because you weigh the cow a bunch doesn't mean it's going to weigh more.
Exactly.
South Dakota. I
Wow.
like that. I like that right
I
there.
need that on a pillow
You gotta,
too.
you gotta feed the cow. You can't just weigh the cow.
I like
Oh
that.
my gosh. Well, and that's kind of what.
I am not saying kids are cows. That's not what I'm saying. It's a metaphor or analogy, whatever the heck it
Let's
is.
move on.
Jacksonville, Florida. Tonight, we will see you there. But you're talking about kids like moving around and whatnot. One of the things that's different is recess. Letting kids have the ability to run around.
Yeah.
Like we need,
Speak,
and I will
brother.
die on this hill.
Preach, brother.
Go.
Middle school, you either need recess or you need to have a PE class for kids every single day. They need
Yes.
to move around.
Yep.
We know that they have to move. I mean, if you go to a middle school classroom for a day, just watch these young boys full of testosterone. Just watch, like they
Yes.
can't, they're just moving all the time. They have to go run around, and that's okay. We have to let them. And
Yeah.
it sucks where especially kids, if they have trouble like reading or trouble in math and they need remedial classes, the first class that they pull is PE.
PE.
So now they're gonna go all day cooped up when those are the kids that need to run around, and it's
Yeah.
just drives me nuts.
So when you talk about recess, so I don't know, does your school go up to is 6th grade considered elementary still, or do they classify that as
Yes,
middle school?
6th grade. Yeah, so it was like
Okay.
K to 6, and then 7 to 8 was.
Okay.
Yeah,
When I grew up, actually 6th, 7th, 8th was middle school, but
Okay.
I'm in Texas, so actually six is a part of 6 is a part of elementary, and sometimes you have your 6th grade centers, which is just 6th grade all by themselves. So I'm in 7th and 8th now. So when our kids come from 6th grade, they still have that elementary kind of mentality where
Yeah.
they want recess, and they say, hey, can we go outside? We're like, no, you guys are in the 7th grade now. There's no more recess at this level. So kind of playing off your part, what they tell us to do is, because sometimes I used to be like, hey, can I take the kids outside to the little courtyard? We'll just, they're like, no, that's not, don't really, we don't let them in the classroom.
not part of your standard.
Right. And so there's like, if they want to move around, go out for athletics. That's equivalent to their recess.
Really?
Football, whatever that is. So isn't that crazy? So that's
Interesting.
because they do that every day.
Yeah.
It's almost like there's outside factors that are preventing kids from doing sports. Like maybe they don't have a ride. Maybe they can't afford shoes. Crazy.
What?
Maybe they haven't ever played basketball before, and now as an
Right.
8th grader,
Right.
they don't want to embarrass themselves on the basketball court.
Right.
Right. Yeah. It's like, this is scientifically proven. This needs to happen for all students. Like fresh air, moving your body. It is proven that all, we need it.
Yeah. Well, and if you just look at the health of kids, you need to have them move around. Like in high school, I took 1 semester of PE. That's crazy. If we have a generation of kids who are we're the most unhealthy generation ever. We gotta have them moving around. We gotta have them learning that exercise is good and it's it'll be good for you in the long run. I don't know. That's the hill that I die on is when it comes to getting kids out and moving.
Yeah.
Gotta have them moving.
Absolutely.
Keep them moving.
Keep them moving.
Sure. Sure.
Mental health amongst kids at each different grade level. It's interesting.
It's all the same now. Everybody, you got elementary kids that has anxiety now, all the way up to high school. And I think, especially after the pandemic.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's even, it's hard to gauge now.
Yeah.
But like growing up back in the day, we didn't have a lot of all these, symptoms and things of that nature and being diagnosed with certain, things. It was just always.
It's just he's a sad kid or he's a happy kid. Or,
So now, with that, and like I said, on top of, the post-pandemic, it's just, I think all the way across the board, I think it's just, right now, I think it's an even playing field right now.
100%. I think you'll see at each grade level, how they express it is so different. Like elementary school, I can't imagine they know how to express to their friends or teachers like, hey, I'm anxious today. I don't think a first grader really does that. And I could be wrong, but at the middle school level, I really see that's when kids start to talk about those things and they start to really process their emotions like, why do I feel this way?
Yeah.
Where are you on the mood meter? Are you in the orange, green, and and I think middle school too, because that's when they a lot of our counselors they get to get their hands dirty a lot of times with the kids and the things they got going on in their lives.
And it's interesting with pandemic kids that were in school during the pandemic, and I was talking with a friend of mine, and she was talking about how her kid has become just deathly afraid of getting sick because their kid went 2 years of school with every day it was, hey, do you have a fever? Hey, do you feel this way? Do you have this? And it trained them to be like, if I'm sick, this is gonna be terrible. I can't be here if
someone's sick, we shut down the school and we're remote for a week.
So that's really played a factor on kids' mental health.
Absolutely.
That short-term couple years affects kids in the long term.
Yeah. And I think sorry.
No, go ahead.
I think also social media probably has a lot to do with kids' mental health. And I think elementary kids, it's all about, teaching them how to regulate and how to figure out what they're feeling, why, and how to handle that emotion.
Yeah.
Where middle school, high school, you have kids who are starting to understand their emotions and understand that they need to take care of it, but they're also seeing a lot of stuff online or being left out. It is, I'm so glad that I went to high school when I did.
Yes.
I would have been crushed if my friends were hanging out without me and I don't know.
And you can see it in real
these
time.
Poor babies.
It's like, all my friends are hanging out.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, and that's another difference is social media at all different levels. I don't know what goes on at the elementary level with social media, but at the middle school level, man, it's a huge deal.
Yeah.
Like you just said.
They just got it probably.
Yeah.
So it's
middle school students are watching live action. Hey, all these people I thought are friends are hanging out together. Why didn't I get invited?
Yeah.
And you hear kids talk about that stuff and you start those conversations at the middle school level of friendships and what is a good friend, what isn't a good friend, and talking to the other kids who are posting those things of hey, how does that make other people feel? I don't know. It's just different,
also
interesting conversation.
Seeing really bad stuff too, stuff that's detrimental.
So at our middle school level, our kids actually created an IG page. It's a fight page. All the fights that are happening or whatever, and they upload the fights.
Oh my goodness!
So a lot of times the kids who were a part of the fight, and let's just say they just didn't win or whatever, but now that's out there,
right?
And everybody's constantly always reminding them, "Oh, remember this? Look at this! Look at."
Right.
So that does something to them. Definitely, it's really devastating to them, and so now they're like very withdrawn in school, or they act out. You know what I'm saying? On the other end, trying to show that well. now my behavior is going to be really aggressive because I don't want y'all to think that I'm, soft or
Yeah.
loser.
Right,
Or, you see what I'm
right.
saying?
Yeah.
But it's that constant reminder being on social media.
Yep.
So, and every time we go down and shut a page down, guess what? A new page creates.
Another one pops up.
Absolutely. And perception is reality for the kids that they see that stuff and they think this is reality. This is how life always is. And it's like, no. Those fight pages, that's new. Like that isn't,
Right.
that isn't something that
We definitely didn't have that.
no.
Well,
exactly.
Well, and I think like the positive part of where we're at right now, or where students are coming into kind of like the mental health area, is that we are acknowledging it.
Yeah, they're so important.
The idea that like, I mean, I remember being sad and anxious now that I know like what anxious is in elementary school, and it's just like, oh, that's Jess. Like she's just sad.
Yeah.
And now we have this idea that like, let's identify these emotions and let's figure out like what you're dealing with. Mental health is a great thing, and I feel like a lot more, it's almost weird now if you're not seeing a therapist or dealing with that. So I think that's a positive thing for
And no, and I'm definitely an advocate of that, and I joke around with it on stage, and where I tell educators go to therapy, but I'm dead serious because everything that we're talking about, all these emotions that these kids are going through, and they're bleeding onto us, and we're like sponges, and we absorb all that. We take on all that trauma.
Absolutely.
So as an educator, that affects our mental health.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because we're carrying a lot of weight on us. You know what I'm saying?
And then we have our own issues.
And on top of that,
and then you have to go home and now go be a mom, go be a dad, go be a whatever it is.
Right.
a friend,
Yeah.
a husband, a partner, like
It weighs
all of
on
the
you.
things.
It
yeah.
weighs on you, and that's where like I had a PD the other day, and I liked what this guy talked about, but some things I wish he would change. But he talked about as teachers, and this applies for all grade levels. There's some days that you get in the car and you start driving to work, and there's sometimes you might just have to turn the car around and just be like, you know what, I can't do it today.
Yeah.
I can't do it today. And the hard part about doing that is like, at the middle school level, I can relatively quickly throw together some sub plans, but elementary, like those last minute, I'm going to be gone. I don't know how you do it. Like, I really don't.
It's
like,
tough.
I don't get it.
Yeah.
I don't know.
And again, like that idea of like, if I take a day off, then, you have that kid that you're kind of making a breakthrough with. And if you're gone, like you're their comfort blanket, or you're their support, and you're not there to support them, that's like a whole new level of guilt that you have. So I think it's good to recognize that where these kids are at.
We have to be on our best A game. It goes back to what you were saying. And, I always say this, like, it's just like they tell you in an airport, when they, telling you the instructions. It's like, before you help this person, make sure you put your own oxygen mask on
for
first
sure.
in order so you can provide aid. So we have to remember to do that as educators too. Like we have to be on our best A game in order for us to service the kids in the best way. You know?
1,000%.
So,
Definitely.
mental health
100%.
all the way across the board.
Yes.
One of the things on here, so this is always a hot button, dress codes at the different levels.
I don't deal with any of that.
Jealous. And here's my
Well,
rule.
most of the time.
This is just my personal rule, and I'm sure people can find flaws in this ideology, but this is how I approach things.
Here we go.
If there's ever a dress code issue with a female, I don't address it. I have a female teacher address it. That is,
1,000.
that's just
That
how
is the correct
That's
way
how I operate it
to handle
because
it.
I've been burned before on things getting twisted. Are you forced to, not forced, but like, are you encouraged? The expectation.
Yeah.
The expectation is, here's the district policy. You guys are going to follow it. So like, I want people to understand, like, teachers, we don't make the dress code.
Right.
We are middle
That's
management.
literally
We
the
have to
last
enforce
thing
it.
we want to do.
We are middle management when it comes to implementing a lot of those things, where our boss says to do this, we're going to do it. That's just that's how it goes when you have a job.
Right.
You agree with it, you disagree with it, whatever. Okay, that's a different conversation. But that's like, for me, if it's a boy with his pants sagging down, yeah, brother, come on, pull your pants up. Like, come on, dude.
Yeah.
We had to determine what violated the district's policy. So, because at first they just left it up to our discretion.
Oh, you didn't have like a concrete.
No. So because everybody kept bumping heads and it was so
interpretation.
right. Well, I mean,
What could go wrong there?
Right.
Having
Yeah.
gray areas.
right. So they implemented this structure. So it went from here's the specific things to look for, and they broke the body down into regions. So if region 1 is covered, region 2, region 3, like you know what I'm saying. So
Your region 1 looks
that's how we had to say.
jeez.
So like, ma'am, your region 4, you're violating region 4.
Region 2 code red. Region 2 code red.
That's what we sounded like.
2319. Got 2319.
Okay. So watch this. Because that was so much of a problem that the next year, because it was a lot, because I guess with fashion now, and this was last year. So the shorts got shorter, right? Shorts got shorter, but it was fashion. It wasn't looked upon as,
Right.
that's not, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Taste, you know what I'm saying?
When
But-
everyone started doing it, it's
Right.
like, oh, okay, can we
So-
fight them all?
I mean, sometimes
right. So they just was like, you know what?
right. Yeah.
There's times that I wear my booty shorts to school. I mean, just kidding.
Hey.
Just kidding.
Hey.
Are you?
Can you imagine?
I used to have teachers when I taught middle school. There was this one instance that I do remember. I had a teacher who had my homeroom, and my homeroom came back to me. She was like, "Miss Smith, come here." She was like, "You need to talk to," and pointed to the student about her dress code. And I'm like, "You can. You saw it. I didn't.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Don't force me into a situation I
Yeah.
don't want to be in."
Like, actually, I don't teach them anymore. You can have that conversation.
Yeah.
You have such
Or,
a good relationship with them.
Why are we picking like nitpicking stuff? It's like the student. It's the teachers who like nitpick the stuff. It's like, pick your dress code battles. Like
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
I like how our district does it, where across the district they say, here are the black and white rules.
Yeah.
Like here are the rules.
There's no
no
questioning,
gray.
yeah.
It is this rule. Everybody across
Right.
it gets rid of so many issues of like, well, this school allows hats and this school doesn't allow hats. This school you can wear a hood. This school you can't wear a hood.
Right.
Like,
Well, it was the parents complaining because they was
Yeah.
like, you know what, we feel like this, and this, and so, you know, and usually a district they will never break, but they'll bend.
yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's unfortunate,
Yeah.
but
Yeah. So let's end this episode.
let's definitely
with,
end this episode with
Let's end this episode with why you taught at the level that you're teaching at.
real good.
Middle school, I like the age that they're at because they're still malleable. You know, you can still, like, some of their habits aren't fully formed yet. Like, you can still catch them early, kind of. And I really like teaching middle school because you can have fun conversations, you can joke around with them, and they're goofy.
Yeah.
You know, they're goofy kids, and
Yeah.
it's fun. You know, you can, you know, like I always tell kids, I'm not here to teach you what to think. I'm here to teach you how to think.
Right.
So having those conversations of, well, think of this perspective and this perspective. You know,
Yeah.
I'm not ever there to say, here's what you need to believe this. It's fun at the middle school level because you can really get them to start thinking about things.
Yeah. Yeah. I think elementary for me, it's just they are so pure and innocent and just so easy to hype up and easily excitable in the sense of like if you're excited about a project or something that you're learning, like they're gonna be so pumped to do it. And that's such like a refreshing thing where you're not constantly fighting people to be engaged with you.
Yeah.
And I loved every
And the kids
second.
want to please you, you know?
Right. It's so much easier to do that with elementary kids. They're just so amazing, and they're learning new things that they've never like. When I taught fractions, it was like they're like, what? Wait, this
Mind blown.
relates to. Whoa! Like it's so cool to
Yeah.
see, and I loved every second.
I chose whether it was high school or middle school. I chose that grade level for the same reason, you know, because I was friends with the principal.
Because it was a job.
Thank y'all, man. Another wonderful episode. Man. Definitely going down Teachers Off Duty podcast. Again, my name is KC Mack. You can follow me at KC Mack Funny on all platforms. And
My name's Gabe Dannenbring. That's my name. It's on all platforms. Check it out.
And I am Jess Smith, Teacher Tales of Miss Smith.
And don't forget to follow Board Teachers on all platforms. And don't forget to follow the Teachers Off Duty podcast on all platforms. And since you're following, go ahead and follow us on Supercast. A lot of great content on there, exclusive content. You don't want to miss it. And you definitely don't want to miss the Board Teachers Comedy Tour. Ooh. That's right. Board Teachers Comedy Tour. Jacksonville. We'll see you tonight. Shippensburg, Pennsylvania, but we won't see you
if you don't have a ticket right now.
Because it's already sold out. Atlantic City, New Jersey. Patchogue, New York is sold out. Poughkeepsie, New York. We need some tickets. Buy them. Support us. Akron, Ohio. Wabash, Indiana. Joliet, Illinois, sold out as well. Thank you, Chicago, for showing up. And Toledo, Ohio, get your tickets. We can't wait to see you. Ticket information in the description.
Yeah.
Goodbye.